one of the most celebrated musicians of our generation, Tupac Shakur, said it better. I see no changes. All I see is racist faces, misplaced hate, mixed disgrace to races. And to this day, we get that clown in his brand of idiocy, serving as the thought police chief, becoming more idiotic every day. And the fact that Tupac's influence on society as a whole to this day, he's a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, got the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He has more albums dead than alive, and it's more celebrated as the voice for today's society. But when you look at when it comes right down to the American thought, it's not this client. We have an inept person, a man who shouldn't be be running in 2024. Yet we call it the American comeback, but this guy is totally inept. And I say this, and I guess we can't lie to and we can't lie to people. We can't do shit like this, and this is what we have to do. And of course, the battle for American thought speaks a lot of volumes to society as a whole. This is from HuffPost, and it's written, and it's pretty much, it says it right there. It says right there, and I'm going to read it word for word, and I'll give you my thoughts on this, because people need to have a better idea of what's happening right now. It reads, earlier this week, one of the inept clowns administration's gambits came up against a major stumbling block: the entire institution of Harvard University. Of course, the administration has demanded Harvard University to follow several directives, meaning to prioritize the inept clowns' culture war agenda, including ending diversity programs, promoting right-wing faculty members, and preventing the admittance of students who don't have quote-unquote American values, a thinly veiled way of demanding the college prioritize MAGA weasels and the inept clown supporters. If the university didn't, the administration threatened it would withhold $2 billion of federal funding, money that was needed for research on topics like medicine, agricultural, and engineering. Now, this kind of gets me grinding my gears a bit. Why is he trying this? Why is this man trying to withhold money to benefit his war on the American thought? It's mind-boggling to me. The guy is a convicted felon, and he's still running the show in Washington because it's a part of a conservative playbook of threatening elite universities. You guessed it, the inept clown second term. In February, the U.S. Department of Education demanded that universities comply with its demands over admissions, student activists, and diversity programs, or else they're losing their federal funding. This is not sustainable at all. The inept clowns administration had made several similar demands of Columbia University, threatening to withhold $400 million in funding if the school did not ban face masks on campus and allow the inept clowns administration to control several of its departments, including programs that focused on the Middle East. Ultimately, the school capitulated, and that's it. But Harvard didn't. Harvard didn't. In public statements, the university essentially told Donald Trump, the inept clown, no, they will not be caving to his threats. In an open letter to the community on Monday, Alan Garber, the president of Harvard, wrote, no government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, in which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue. This is glorious. They poked the bear and they fought back. Donald Trump is an absolute idiot. He can't get his head on straight because he's so blinded on a culture war. He's the most anti-black president since Woodrow Wilson. Think about that, folks. This is a man that despises black people in more ways than one. For years, the Republican Party has fashioned itself as the party of free speech. They have alleged that diversity of opinion, beliefs, and thought was central to their ideology, and anyone who disagreed was trying to censor them. And while their protestations always seem shallow, after all, they seem to be arguing for the right for conservatives to say what they want without repercussions. And with the inept clown back in power, it seems that if we entered a new phase in the battle over not just free speech, but the ability to shape the way Americans think in the first place, this is what I feared the most from this inept clown. And we knew that from day one. That's pretty much says it, from trying to exert control over what universities can teach and which students they admit, uh, to attempting to defund public media or deporting college students whose opinions they don't like. The inept clown's administration is trying to police the thoughts and beliefs of many of America's major institutions. That is wrong. And this man is violent, is wants you to forget the Constitution and obey the power that is Donald John Trump. This man is an inept clown, and he's not God. We knew that from the word go. No. Kristen Shalvardian, the program director of Campus Free Speech at PEN America, a nonprofit that promotes free expression, told HuffPost it's absurd. It's both absurd and dangerous at the same time. He's seeking to control education, the press, law firms, because there are major institutions that serve as the places that speak truth to power and are doing the work of pushing back. And of course, in his second term, the inept clown isn't just trying to exert control over the federal government, he's also taking aim at the major institutions that shape public life. If the inept clown can control what colleges can teach, which news outlets can report on his harmful policies, and what ideas are allowed to be discussed, he can reshape American life as we know it. This is insane. Jennifer Pan, a political science and professor at Stanford University, told HuffPost authoritarian rulers have strong incentives to control the information environment in order to suppress individuals, ideas, and organizations that it can enable mobilization against them. This is what is happening, and this is what we're looking at. The inept clowns multifaceted war on information boils down to the need to suppress criticism and opposition, but it also encompasses the need to quash the ability for dissenting ideas to spread to others. Just last week, Immigration and Customs Enforcement posted on social media that it was their job to prevent illegal ideas from crossing the border. Donald Trump is a complete idiot, and we knew that from the word go. Everyone knew that. Because the Clown's administration is also straight up going after individuals, particularly immigrants, with opinions it don't like. After Mama Khalil was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents last month in the lobby of his apartment building in New York City, his family, lawyers, and wider public wanted to know what the 28-year-old legal permanent resident could have done to warrant his detention. Like I said, this is pathetically insane. I guess I hate to say this. I'm not pro Hamas, but when people say I'm against Palestine, and everyone knows that, that's not true. I'm for a free Palestine, but I'm not for. But it's got to be away from Hamas. I'm not a big fan of it. That's all I can say about that. But the government did not say that Khalil had committed a crime. In a court filing, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who had ordered the revocation of Khalil's green card, said that his pro-Palestine beliefs do not align with American interests and thus he could be deported under the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. Khalil, a graduate student at Columbia, is heavily involved in the pro-Palestine student movement, something that the inept Clowns administration has been trying to crack down on. Again, this is war, and he's making it about himself. Donald Trump is a total idiot, and he's probably always been inept. Rubio wrote per NBC, the foreign policy of the United States champions core American interests and American citizens in condoning anti-Semitic conduct and disruptive protests in the United States would severely undermine that significant foreign policy objective. Of course, put plainly, Khalil has been detained and is threatened with deportation because of his opinions in what appears to be a clear violation of his First Amendment rights. You have to right, like I said, you have the right to protest. You have to peacefully, and you have the right to protest it peacefully. And this is insane. This is what I feared. This is because he remains in detention while his lawyers appeal a judge's decision that moved him from one step closer to being deported. Of course, Khalil's alone. The State Department of State is canceling hundreds of student visas, leaving international students in a panic about their legal status and their academic futures. Most of them aren't guilty or even accused of serious crimes. But Marco Rubio has justified the cancellation, saying that students must prove they aren't acting against national interests, by which he refers to pro-Palestine beliefs. Every time I define one of these lunatics, I take away their reasons, he said last month. In the meantime, many students are suing the government, saying they were denied due process. Due process is essential to today's law. And this and that clown is denying it every single time. While colleges and universities must decide if they would allow the inept Clowns administration to essentially take control of their academic programs and admissions process while deporting its students, the media is also facing attacks. Pan said as well in the following: two of the most important channels of the information for the public that are the educational system and the media, ensuring that these two channels promote the autocrats' views rather than alternative views is crucial, which is why authoritarian regimes censor opposition media and civil society. And of course, we know this. This inept clown has been at war with the media for decades, reportedly calling for any journalism outfit that dare to criticize his policies or portray him in a way that he didn't personally approve to lose their television license. Mainly CBS. He went after, of course, when he posted to a Truth Social after 60 Minutes, air segments about Russia's war in Ukraine and the Trump administration to buy Greenland. The Big Fat Fuck went off and said, they are not a news show, but a dishonest political operative. Simply put, guys, as news, it must be reported, it must be responsible for what they have done and are doing. This guy is totally inept. I knew that from the word. You can fight me all you want. This guy's a complete idiot. He has also attempted to outright control reporting on his administration. He is currently waging a legal war against the Associated Press for its refusal to refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. I still refer to that as the Gulf of Mexico, not Gulf of America. Fight me while you fight me. Barring its reporters from covering the White House and defying a court order that the news service be reinstated. This guy has fought the press. He's not winning. And this week, the White House said it is planning on asking Congress to strip funding for NPR and PBS, the two biggest public broadcasting stations in the country, saying that the outlets spread radical woke propaganda. This guy's just news. This guy's a complete idiot. We knew that from the workout. The examples in the White House statement are primarily the content that focuses on LGBTQ stories and examinations of race and discrimination, both targets of the right-wing culture wars. It still goes on in YouTube and many of social media. They're still bag of fuckers, still bitching about racism, and their brand of bigotry. Of course, Ross Vought, the director of Office of Personnel Management, told Fox Noise that PBS needed to be defunded because it was putting drag queens in children's programs, doing documentaries pushing for reparations and defending the country on the basis of race. This guy's a complete moron. Where did this guy's a complete moron? We knew that from the word go. What's votes in one of them? George Carlin said it better. Donald Dang, some when he's full of shit. He's stupid. He's fucking nuts. Donald Trump's all three. Some people are just fucking stupid. I knew that for years. This guy's a complete idiot. Of course, conservatives have complained about public media for years, saying it's biased towards liberal viewpoints, but their calls to defund it haven't really gone anywhere. The resources for PBS and NPR are barely a blip in the budget, and many of their stations serve rural areas and air popular programming like Sesame Street for children. If Congress decides to defund them, the stations could be forced to shut down. I guess when you look at it, this is not going to serve Donald Trump in a more ways than one. We've already seen this ideological battle play out in the Republican United States. After Florida sent Governor Ron DeSantis won the governor's race in 2022, he started a campaign against wokeness, claiming radical leftists were indoctrinating children at school. Now, the Sunshine State is home to some of the most repressive laws, including ones that limit discussions about racial justice or LGBTQ plus themes in classrooms and rule books that can help school children learn the benefits of a multiracial and democratic society. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Florida is the most dumbest state in the world. The dumbest state in America as a whole. What idiocracy. The result has left Florida educators afraid to speak freely in their own classrooms and created an atmosphere of fear among the LGBTQ plus community. My cousin lives in Jacksonville, and if he's watching, I hope you give those kids a better education, because this guy, Ron DeSantis, is a failure in every sense of the word. That's what I fear. It's a model that can take the country if Donny Boy and his cronies are successful in their plan to attack all of our public institutions. The oil doesn't just want universities to hire his supporters or CBS to say nice things about him. He wants the entire country to bend to his will. And Pam said, it is important that censorship is one of the bundle of strategies used by authoritarian regimes of old power. Censorship is used alongside cooptation, repression, and propaganda, and these elements can be mutually be reinforcing. I think when I say this guy is a fucking idiot. He wants to be fucking king. So fucking bad. And everyone knows it. But this is where I stand. We the people put our ideas in the right mind, the right frame of mind. This and that clown violating the Constitution, that is not helpful. The man wants to be a dictator. I mean, the court. When you look at this, when you look at back, the courts are we are fighting back. The courts are fighting back. Universities are fighting back. Law firms are fighting back. And Donald Trump, man, it's been modus operandi for years. This is how he bankrupt casinos. He transferred all of his debt to the casino and took his salaries and bonuses. Now he's doing it to America. And you guys are who lead by it and become more insane to this absolute buffoon idiot. It baffles me to this day. And it continues to baffle me more often than not. That this inept clown is still in office. And he's not playing by the rules. I feel that no matter what we say or what we do, We always put our principles first. And this and that clown isn't helping matters. He's continue if he fights the press, he's bound to suck. If he continues to be this ignorant, you better be beware that this moron is completely losing his mind when it comes right down to it. Ladies and gentlemen, when Donald Trump was the president the first time, he sure let things slide because he's not gonna be an idiot the first time. Not gonna be an idiot. He doesn't want to be a moron. But when it came right down to it, he's bumbling. And he's declaring war on the Constitution and the American people. And when it becomes more and more insufferable for people to understand it, I guess when you look at it, I can't think about it. I'm not a big fan of the insanity that is the government, that is a president that wants this country to be in his own image, and it's embarrassing. I was born in the final years of the Ronald Reagan administration, and to be blunt, the Ronald Reagan administration, at least Ronald Reagan was 10 times better than Donald Trump when it comes to running the show. He was all business. Donald Trump's a complete buffoon, and we knew that from the word go. But now that he's back in office and he's creating a war in which he cannot win, it's only a matter of time before 2026 comes along and he starts to, and this empire of MAGA begins to crumble. And we will have better candidates that fight back, to push back against this idiocy, and make sure we hold this fucker accountable because he's not doing it. He's not doing his job. Some people may say, maybe we could stand by. Maybe we could just not fight back. Y'all, that's what a culture. That's what you're bringing in, a culture of losing. When you fight back, we win. I guess Two Better said it better, and it's well documented to this day. And he said it because some things will never change. Try to show another way, but you're staying in the adult games. And now tell me what's the mother to do? Being a real, don't appeal to the brother in you. He's been that is from Tupac's Changes. And he's been a vocal cord for the community. And I guess when you look back at it and how it relates to us in the black community, at least he's speaking for us. And when you look back at it, this is the exact thing. We are fighting back. And if you're just a two thing, lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way. If you're a leader, lead us to fight. Fight against this fat fuck. He's playing golf with our money, and he's going wildly with his executive orders and all this other bullshit that has probably been penned by Stephen Miller. If you want to follow the lead, be that. But if you're not a leader and you're not a follower, get out of the way. Because when you act like wimps, you're bound to act like wimps. Point blank. I appreciate the honor. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you listening. Be a good human being. Be a good person. and stay happy and stay healthy. I'll see you next time with an all new with another video. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Like what you see? Buy me a damn coffee. Link in description. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks a lot. Watch more right here.